What is going on? What is going on, world? Welcome to a special edition of 100 Yards of Running Week 9. We're going to jump right into it. Shout out to the people on Instagram watching. Shout out to the viewers that's watching. I hope y'all went out there and vote like I did. But no, that's neither here nor there. Let's break on my brother from Houston, August Stevens.
Yo, what it do, man? What's going on?
What's going on, man? This is a special edition. This week, we usually talk about games and stuff like that, but we got some breaking news. This is a special week. We're going to dive right into it. Breaking news. The Commanders traded for the Saints cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, added some depth to that defense, added much needed pieces to that defense right there.
Mm.
Brother, how do you feel about this breaking news right here?
All right, well, first and foremost, we need to break this whole situation down, okay? On Monday morning, Dennis Allen, head coach of the New Orleans Saints, was fired by Gail Benson. And the report is that Gail Benson was sending emails to all of the players, the key players in the organization, asking them if they needed change, asking them if anything was possible to be worked out. And a lot of them said no. So Monday morning, Dennis Allen was fired, and the special teams coordinator was placed as the interim head coach. With that, a lot is changing. A lot in the organization is going to change over the next year. And honestly, man, look, Saints fans, I know they're excited about this because for the past 3 years now, Dennis Allen has shown nothing but mediocrity. He did it when he was the Raiders head coach, and he brought most of the same guys over, and he did it again with the New Orleans Saints. I believe his days as a head coach in the NFL are over, and he's going to be destined to be a coordinator. Now, they shipped Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington Commanders for a third and fourth pick, and a sixth round conditional pick. So it's going to be a lot. I can see the Saints are going to probably be, selling a lot of players. The trade deadline is passed, but as the new year starts, they're probably going to bottom out for the rest of this year. I don't see them trying to win games at this point. You lost 7 in a row. You're 2-7, and there's nothing really more you can do for this year. There's nothing more you can do with this team because it's an elder team. The defense is old. The pieces on offense all need to be replaced, except for maybe a couple like Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. And it's a dire situation in New Orleans. When you lose to the worst team in the NFL, being the Carolina Panthers, they were a one-win team going into last week, and they won. I don't care if it was by 1 point or not. You lost to the worst team, and now you're sitting at 2-7. You're looking to be a top five, if not top three draft pick. It's not looking good, man. So this is the uprising that everybody was looking for. And honestly, and Mickey Loomis could be next on the chopping block. I'm not
I
I'm not
wouldn't be
even gonna lie to
surprised.
you.
I
I'm not
wouldn't
gonna
be
lie to you.
surprised.
Mickey Loomis has been the GM of the New Orleans Saints since the early 2000s, and the way he was defending his actions, the way he was defending Dennis Allen, it's crazy. It's absolutely abysmal. And he tried to make people seem, oh, the outcome is not what the only thing you should be looking for. And no, dude, this is a very outcome driven league. So when you're talking about, oh, the outcome isn't the only thing you should look for, it's BS. Let's call it what it is. And honestly, I think his time as the New Orleans Saints GM is coming to an end because Gail Benson, she's pissed.
Yeah, I would be too. And with this Lattimore trade going on, losing a piece like that, top tier quarterback in the NFL, the Commanders got a special player in their backfield. Let's see what they can do this season. That is not all the breaking news that we have had this week. Let's talk about it. This Pittsburgh Steelers acquiring Mike Williams for the New York Jets for a fourth round pick. The Steelers getting Mike Williams, former Charger. I think he went to the Pro Bowl a couple of times. What do you see Mike Williams doing with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think it's a very interesting trade that happened there because what I see coming from Pittsburgh, they are using their quarterbacks as if it was a college. What I mean is, whoever best fits the game plan for this week. You put Russell Wilson in one week, you put Fields in the next week. They're rotating, and a lot of people think it's because they're not performing well. But you know, Wilson, he knocked out both New York teams in
Yeah, he
grand
did.
fashion. Um, but Fields is too much of an athlete to just take out. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those situations where you have like in New Orleans, you got Taysom Hill, who's a quarterback, but you see him all over the field, and I think that's what they're going to try to do with Fields at some point. Um, and yeah, I think they're going all in, man. They're pushing their chips in because you got Baltimore in that division that's doing really well. But the rest of that division, let's be honest, the Browns and Cincinnati Bengals, they're nothing. So they're competing with Baltimore for that AFC North division. And so to get more firepower and more options for those quarterbacks to play around with and to get some touchdowns on the board, it's great.
Not only did the Steelers do work in acquiring Mike Williams, they went to Green Bay and acquired pass rusher Preston Smith.
Yeah,
That you got Preston Smith now. You got T.J. Watt now.
yeah.
You got Cam Hayward now. The Steelers is working on that defense, and I can see that defense being dangerous. Talk to me.
So if you remember back in the early 2000s, right? The Steelers and even the 90s, man, the Steelers were always known for their defense. That was
Yeah,
the staple of Pittsburgh football was their defense. And you had quarterbacks like a Terry Bradshaw, like a Ben Roethlisberger, who they were game managers, and that's not a negative connotation to them. At
no,
times, all they had to do was not mess up, right? So now I think they got away from that over the past couple of years, and Mike Tomlin, especially, he was trying something different with Kenny Pickett, but it didn't work out, and so now he's pivoting back to what he knows, back to that winning formula that the Pittsburgh Steelers got, and it got them 6 Super Bowl championships because of it.
I mean, yeah, yeah, it has, it has. Like I said, we had a lot of trades going on this week. A trade that we didn't talk about last week: Kansas City acquiring, and I think they didn't need him, but they got him anyway. And they're thinking three peat with this pickup and acquiring DeAndre Hopkins. Now that Kansas City offense is looking more dangerous, and they played last night and they won in overtime, and now the Kansas City Chiefs are 8-0.
Yeah. Listen, listen. I'm all for the hype around Kansas City, right? Because like I've said many a times on the show, this version of Kansas is the new New England Patriots. They get a bunch of guys to come in and buy into the fact that if you want a Super Bowl ring, this is where you come, and they pay those guys next to nothing to do it. So they're acquiring left and right, DeAndre Hopkins and all these other players that are lining up just so they can get a Super Bowl ring. And hey, if it works for you, then great. That is wonderful. The problem I see here is that hunger, right? And I get it. You're like, man, there ain't no what kind of hunger could you possibly be talking about? The same kind of hunger that the New England Patriots had when they went 18-1. There was a
Hmm.
New York Giants team that was hungrier than them because they knew that the odds were stacked against them. And the Chiefs, they need to be careful of that. They need to be careful with getting too confident, getting too cocky early, and not letting that underdog sneak up on them and take them out.
I can see that happening because a lot of people, shout out to my brother TG over here. A lot of people is high on these Chiefs, and as you said, they better be careful. I mean, they're red hot right now. They're
Yeah,
undefeated right now. They're the only team in the NFL that's undefeated right now. So
yep.
as the season goes on, We're gonna see what Kansas City is gonna do. More trades happening. And I'm seeing it. The Rams trading cornerback, veteran cornerback, Tre'Davious White to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's looking to add more and more threat to their defense. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Baltimore's defense in the secondary, it's not great. It's
Right,
not great at all.
right.
And with the addition of Tre'Davious White, you want to bring a veteran in there that knows what they're doing, who's going to fit into a hardball type of defense. What are your thoughts on the Ravens acquiring Tre'Davious White?
Tre'Davious White is one of those young, athletic, long corners that the Baltimore Ravens desperately needed. Um, and like I said, man, this trade deadline, every team that is a contender is pushing all the chips in. So for
Hmm.
Baltimore to go and fix the problem that they had on the secondary, I think it's going to be a wild ride in the AFC, man, because, Kansas City is doing what they're doing. Baltimore is pushing all their chips in. They have teams that are legitimately searching for that Super Bowl win. And I think it could come down to Baltimore and Kansas City again, man. And that could be a crazy AFC championship game.
I agree. I agree. Baltimore's going all in. They signed Derrick Henry in the offseason, something Dallas should have done, but they didn't get the job done. And now adding pieces in that defense. And now you got Tre'Davious White. Let's see what Baltimore can do. The
Speaking of
trade.
Dallas, speaking of Dallas,
Speaking of Dallas, oh,
speaking of
let's talk
Dallas,
about Dallas.
let's
Dallas Cowboys. First of all, Dallas acquires Panthers Mingles, Jonathan Mingles, for a fourth rounder to the Carolina Panthers.
listen, listen, man.
Let me
There's
let me let me
nothing
finish.
at,
Let me
at
finish.
this
Whoop
at
de
this point.
doo, whoop de
At
doo with Dallas.
at this
But
point,
here's what's gonna hurt Dallas right here.
yeah.
Real quick, guys, I hate to interrupt the flow of everything because it's real good. I just want to put this up real quick. Someone asked about a link or how what they can need to, whoop the whoop, what. It's right here.
Yeah, yeah.
That link. Shout out to the people on Instagram that's watching. The link is right there at Family Meeting Podcast One.
You can
Welcome to my Instagram viewers
that'll
and
take you
YouTube.
that'll
If you
take you
can't
right.
check us there out there, check us out on
Yes, sir.
YouTube.
That'll take you right there. Right there. Anyway, my bad, fellas. Oh, by the way, I want to make one correction. You got to say it the right way when you talk about the Ravens. You got to say Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Uh,
The
Baltimore.
Baltimore
Baltimore.
Ravens. Got it.
Baltimore.
It's the Baltimore Ravens.
Be
All right.
more.
I'm muting again, but I'm gonna stay right here because if I get out, then that link is gonna make y'all look crazy. So I'm gonna keep it right there, just for a little bit, just for a little bit.
Keep
Got
that
you.
link right there.
But
Listen,
back to what we were talking about, man. Dallas Cowboys. Look, they have made a plethora of mistakes, and I think it's honestly time. We've said it constantly, time and time again on this podcast. Jerry Jones, step down because you spend 40% of the cap on two players who aren't playing for you right now. Dak Prescott is
Foolishness.
out for at least 4 weeks on IR. CD Lamb is injured. And those two players alone are the catalyst of the Dallas Cowboys. And now you're going in there with Cooper Rush. And come on, the season's over. The season is over for you guys. You guys are sitting at 3-5. And now you got this injury, both on both of your star players. It's done. And I'm sorry, Jerry, but you're like 102 years old. You probably need to go and relax, give it to your son, let him take over the dynasty, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to get another Super Bowl. But as long as you're consistently doing the dumb stuff that you're doing, you will never get another Super Bowl win.
Straight foolishness. As a
Jerry
matter of
Jones.
this ain't
That's
even a
Jerry
facts.
Jones. Did you hear what this man said on the radio today?
Yeah.
This man is delusional.
Yeah.
Your season was over the second week of the season. And here's why I say that. The diabolical at your quarterback that you're paying $60 million to.
Yep.
Then you had this wide receiver who you should have signed in the offseason and CD Lamb. and then you bring him back in the start of the season thinking that the him and that chemistry is going to be there when it's not
Yep.
at all. Now, with that being said, with that being said, Jerry, step down. Your quarterback is hurt. Your top receiver is hurt. And Rush we trust. No, Cooper Rush is not going to save your season at all.
Listen, if
Michael
Rush,
Parsons
if,
is out. You talk about key pieces of the offense. Look at their defense. Parsons is out.
yeah,
Lawrence is out.
yeah.
What? What
Look,
is Dallas fighting for?
if everyone was trusting Cooper Rush like he so eloquently put, he would have been a starter. It wouldn't have been this. He's the backup or none of this. No, man, he would have been a starter if he was healthy.
He would have been a starter, and he's not. So you paid Dak all of this money to for what? To stake up your franchise? Now you're gonna miss the playoffs. Y'all not even gonna make the playoffs. Y'all made the playoffs last year, and you got bumped. You let the Packers beat you, and now this season, Dak goes out. CeeDee Lamb is out. You got Cooper Rush back there. You bring back Ezekiel Elliott to do absolutely nothing for your football team. You got a running back who I don't even know how to pronounce his name. This guy is just sitting there fighting for his life, trying to run the ball down the field, and he's not doing a good job at that either. Then your receivers. You're dependent on one receiver, and he's not going to do that great. You got a
Yeah.
bunch of rookie receivers over here who's dropping passes. Butterfingers is what I call them. What are you
Look,
guys doing in Dallas? This is not working. It's not
They're,
working.
look, they're trying to sell the dream, right? The dream of America's team. That's a dream that they've been holding on to for decades now. And honestly, America as a whole has said, "Nah, son, you're not America's team. You're
At all.
Dallas's team. You're Dallas's team. Let's keep it a buck, right?" So now he's trying whatever he can to hold his power because as long as they were winning Super Bowls, as long as it was, America's team, then his power in the NFL organization and with the other owners meant a lot. But honestly, I see a lot of the owners nowadays, they're mocking this man. They're like, dude, you haven't won anything. This is literally just become a business to you at this point. And that's the sad part for all of the fans of Dallas football that want to push, that want to be better, that want the team to grow. It's not. It's not gonna grow.
Boy, they ain't even Texas team right now. Forget America team. Y'all got to be Texas team right now.
You
Yo,
know who's and that's sad. You know
the
who's
Houston
Texas's new team?
Texans, the
Yes.
Houston Texans.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They are doing the damn thing the way that they need to, and it's crazy because a lot of people
It sounds
doubted the
crazy.
Texans. They doubted the Texans, and now they're sitting at 6-3. They're looking pretty. They're ahead of the AFC South. And come on, man. Like you got a young quarterback in CJ Stroud. That man is God fearing. He puts everything, with the Lord first and everything. And the NFL has tried to block that, and that's the crazy thing, man. They have tried to edit his promos after the game, and they try to anytime he talks about God or anything, they bleep it out or they cut it, and it's crazy to me to see that because this man is doing what he needs to do, and he's trying to keep it right with God, and I think like that's the most important thing of all. You know what I mean? The
I've
Texans,
looked at this kid's background, not to cut you off. I looked at his background and I was amazed how
yeah,
he put God first.
yeah,
I love a player like CJ Stroud. This man puts God first before anything.
yeah,
He's dedicated on the field. You see the hard work that he puts dedicatedly every week. He prepares his team to go out there and be great. And this year, Houston is going to be a problem.
yeah.
I
Look,
want to
man, you
talk
got
about a team. Now, not to cut you off, I have to get this straight out there before we go either further. Let's talk about the trade of the day. Everybody didn't think that Detroit could get any more dangerous. They did. With Aiden Hutchinson going down, the Detroit Lions went out and acquired Zadarius Smith
True.
from the Cleveland Browns for a fourth
Listen,
and fifth round draft pick.
listen. That man has to be ecstatic from going to a team that has an overpaid quarterback that can't win against a high school team, okay, to going to a perennial NFC contender in the Detroit Lions. I would be ecstatic if I was a Darius Smith. The Lions should be ecstatic to get him. And I feel like that relationship is going to bud nothing but positivity. That, hey, look, they're already trying to take over the NFC North, and I think they very much are on their way to do that.
Took over. They took the NFC North and ran with it. Let's face
Yes,
it. Who's gonna beat them in that division? Look at the NFC North. Let's talk about the NFC North for 1 second. Look at that division.
but
The
look, some
Vikings
people,
tried to, at the beginning of the season. Everybody, including me, was like, "Oh, can we actually believe that Sam Darnold is gonna pull off and take the Vikings somewhere? He's gonna take them to the first round, and they're gonna get bumped." But Detroit, what Dan Campbell and everybody, I gotta give him his flowers. He's bringing guys over there that wants to play.
yeah,
That defense got better. Let's talk about their running backs. They call Sonic and Knuckles. Who's stopping them boys?
I
They are putting numbers up each week, and then we'll put the icing on the cake. You got a quarterback and Jared Goff, who's actually understanding what he sees in front of him on that football field. He's taking his time. He's not making as much mistakes as he was before. And the Lions, to me, right now, is the biggest threat to Kansas City right now.
you think so?
I think so. With that defense getting better, and they got Darius Smith right now over there with them, yeah.
Listen, one thing I can say about the Lions, Dan Campbell, ah man, he was one of the Saints tight ends coach. I wish they would have kept that man. He has turned the Lions into a perennial powerhouse, and that is something that Detroit has missed for like a decade since Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And even back then, Barry was running through trying not to get tackled because their offensive line was atrocious. You know what I mean? So, hey, kudos to Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions on making that move. I think this really puts them in the forefront to win that division and not only to go into the playoffs and really make some noise.
Sure. With these games going on, I said it last week. These games are crazy. It could go either way. You got a couple of teams like the Ravens with a blowout victory. You got Kansas City winning in overtime. All these trades that's going on, I want to grade these trades right now. That's what I want to do right now.
Yeah.
The trade for Marshawn Lattimore leaving the Saints, going to the Commanders. I give that trade a minus.
So, okay, I give it an A minus for Washington side. For the Saints, I give it a B. The reason I give it a B is because I really feel like a perennial powerhouse like Marshawn Lattimore, he's still in his prime. He's only 28 years old. They could have at least got a second round for him, but they didn't. Okay, so you send him to Washington and you made them stronger. And honestly, if you take a second to look, Washington, Houston, these are teams that people should really look at and seeing how to build your team. They have young quarterbacks on rookie deals and they're putting assets around everyone. And this is something that I really like being someone that's from New Orleans that I've grown up with the Saints. The Saints have never drafted a quarterback since Arch Manning. And I think it's
Archman.
time. I think it is time for y'all to go and look at every quarterback coming out in this draft. Shador Sanders, yo, look at that guy. You know what I mean? You have to go and look and evaluate every single player, every single thing in this team because of this disaster. And for Washington, they came out on the ass end of this trade looking amazing because their GM pulled off a trade that really should have gave the Saints a lot more than what they did.
If I'm the New Orleans Saints, I'm looking at Arch Manning.
He's not coming out this year, I don't think. Well, I don't
That's
know.
just that's just me.
Look, if he does, bro, how legendary would that be? You know, Archie Manning, the quarterback of the Saints. You skip a generation, and now your grandson is quarterbacking the same team that you led. Man, I would be ecstatic to have a Manning in the New Orleans Saints organization. Do you understand? That would be great because now you have a kid that's athletic. He can run, he can throw, and oh yeah, when he has questions, only the greatest quarterback of all time, and Peyton Manning and his uncle Eli Manning, a Super Bowl winner in his own right, are right there to give him information. That's crazy, man. That's
All I
crazy.
know is the Saints got played like a doggone fiddle in that trade, bro. This I just popped in to say that. I'm good.
I mean,
I
they,
mean,
they, they did. They did.
so okay. So if you look at all of their assets, right? They should have two threes now, two fours, one and two. You know what I mean? They can use those to package to move up, and which is why I think if they finish, look, they're talking about, oh, we can still win some games. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And I'm telling you this right now. New Orleans Saints, just and look, no one, everyone's not going to agree with me, but just go out there and play. You know what I'm saying? You don't win, please. At this point, it's already done. You know you're not doing nothing for the season. You're not going to get Darren Rizzi a head coaching job because he's a special teams guy. They're not going to look at him. You need a young coach and it's a new staff. Do not try to go out here and play Superman ball because if you do, I will slap the shit out of every single one of you. Go ahead, get your draft pick, get your quarterback of the future for the first time in decades, and get the ball rolling, man.
Wow. The Steelers trade acquiring Mike Williams and Preston Smith. I grade this at A minus as well. Here's why. Because Pittsburgh got two quarterbacks and Fields and Wilson. Adding a player like Mike Williams and adding a pass rusher like Preston Smith only benefits Mike Tomlin. We
Yep,
all know how Mike Tomlin coaches. We all
yep,
know what Mike Tomlin likes. Pittsburgh is going to be dangerous come playoff time. They're going to be one of the most slept on teams that's going to shock the world and pull it through. They're not how far they're going to make it. That's on them, but I think they could be dangerous in the playoffs.
yep, yeah. I think it's look, and it's a balance. That's one thing that I think the the owners of these teams need to start looking at how these coaches balance the teams out. Because Mike Tomlin, we all know is a defensive guy, yet he goes get a guy like Mike Williams. He pays attention to the offense and what they need, right? That's what a good head coach is supposed to do. And at the same time, he goes and get a guy like Preston Smith. Bro, this is what I'm talking about team building. You need to be balanced. You need to have everybody in the right positions at every level of every position in your team to be successful. You cannot have these gaping holes. And so Mike Tomlin, yeah, kudos to him. I give this trade an A. I give both trades an A because you went out and you got what you needed, and now you're fighting for the AFC North.
The the Rams letting go Tre'Davious White going to the Ravens. That's another A grade for me too because let's
What
face
did they
it,
get? What did they get for that? What did the
they
Rams
got a
get?
couple. They got a couple of picks. You see, all these teams are making trades for this year's draft because I think this year's draft coming up is going to be special.
It's
You
gonna be
got a group
good.
of talented kids coming
Yep.
into the NFL, and it's like everybody is fighting to rebuild that team. And the Rams is one of those teams that I can see rebuilding. You got a quarterback in the future, but we don't know how long he's playing, but he still could throw the ball down the field. He's still one of the great talents in the NFL, and Matthew Stafford. And, and you still got Sean McVay as your
Yep.
coach.
Yep.
So The Rams, you got great receivers. You got a receiver back there and the core that everybody's falling in love with. The kid is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
all the Rams is missing to me is pieces on the defense. You need that defensive end. You need those linebackers who you can count on, especially those corners. Because
Well,
let's face it, the corners that you have right now, I get that they're trying to get their feet wet, but they're just not getting the job done when they play big teams.
Well, it's crazy because ever since they lost Aaron Donald, it seemed like it not seems like he was the glue that held that defense together. He was that monster that he took up two and three guys on the line and let everybody else go and do their work. You know what I mean? And that freed up a lot of the backfield to go and do what they needed to do because they had to focus so much on one defensive tackle. They need to find that monster again. And I'm not, and look, it's not going to be easy to replace this guy. You're never going to find another Aaron Donald, but
No,
you can find someone who has similar production, and it's more than just your production, it's the makeup of the kid. You know what I mean? Whoever they get to come in and be that monster. But they need to replace, if not with two people, you know what I mean? Um, that defensive line of theirs, it's flawed right now, and I think that's why they've been struggling this season, and everybody sees it. So they need to fill that hole. You know what I mean? No, no did it. Um, uh, but yeah, they need to feel that and let everybody know that the Rams is not going nowhere, man. They have pieces and they have a young head coach and they have Matthew Stafford who's not old yet in any fashion. You know what I mean? He has the arm strength still. You just got to go out there and put the proper pieces around him.
I want to talk about the Raiders for 1 second. The Raiders are bringing back Nerve Turner as their senior advisor after firing their coach last week. Didn't they bring? Why are you bringing this guy back? What did he do for your organization the first time you guys had him? And
Norv
now you're breaking
Turner,
him back as your senior advisor? Why?
Norv Turner, the old San Diego Chargers head coach, right? Um, I don't know. I think teams they struggle with, oh, we're losing, so we need to do something, right? Um, and so they pull at straws and try to, instead of being smart and diligent and vetting their prospects and looking at who they're bringing in and hiring to be the proper guys, they go into panic mode and they're like, North Turner, he was a coach for so many years. Yeah, but he was trash for so many years. So, that'll be like a team bringing in Dennis Allen to be their, you know, like,
Which would
what are we
be
doing?
which would be a bad move.
What are we doing? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess if it's gonna work, it'll work, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Why would you pay this man? He needs to just try TV or something because you know what the old saying is, right? Those who can't do, teach.
That's so true.
Yeah. So
Another team that didn't make moves in this trade is the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of team was like looking at quarterback Richardson,
yeah.
and the Colts let it be known that Richardson was off limits. Now here's a kid that we talked about, and Anthony Richardson last week,
Mhm.
where he wanted to sit out because he was tired.
Right.
Now Colts is talking about he is off limits. Why would you want to keep a quarterback like this on your team? Please explain this to me.
There's only there's only two reasons I can think of. Either one, they're just saying that because they knew the trade deadline was coming and they didn't want to rush it because they felt they wouldn't get what they want for him. So they can try to move him in the off season. They can move him before the trade deadline of next year and properly get what they think they can get from him. Because he's still a young quarterback, so they can lie and be like, "Oh yeah, this," But I don't know, man. I don't see it. The whole I'm taking a break, take me out. I'm too tired. Like, what the hell is that, man? That right there, I'd have I'd have benched him for the rest of the season. Let Joe Flacco go in there and ball out the way that he's known to do. I get it. He's old and you got to look towards the future. But nah, that all but sold it for me, man. That sold it for me. It's certain things that people do that you just cannot forgive. You can't forgive it, you know?
I mean, I feel you. It's very unacceptable to do that and to sit out. Another team that tried to make noise this trade deadline is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're down running back Moss, and they traded for Bears running back Herbert. Adding Herbert to that backfield in the Bengals, let's face it, the Bengals is looking for help as well. That's
Yeah.
another team that's desperately looking for help. I mean, Joe Burrow can only do but so much. And the Bengals had a running back in Joe Mixon, who they should have kept.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Talk to me about them acquiring Herbert from the Bears.
I, it's one of those pulling at straw moves, just trying to see. Because I honestly don't know why the Bengals will be making a trade before the trade deadline. They're not going to do anything in that division, not this year. They've lost too many games that they should have won. Um, for whatever reason, Joe Burrow just doesn't seem to be the Joe Burrow of the past this season
No,
anyway. Um, I mean, it's I don't know what they give up for him, like a 6 round pick or something like that.
they gave up a fourth round and a sixth round pick
A
for
fourth and a sixth. Golly. I think that's too much, man. You can go and get a young quarterback in the fourth round this off season. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna
yeah.
lose anyway, then why are you giving up assets? You know what I mean? Um, but I guess Cincinnati look. Here's the thing about Cincinnati. The owner of Cincinnati is like really just now investing into the Bengals. And that's crazy, right? Because the Bengals have been
Mhm.
around for decades. They're just now getting, outdoor facilities and all this other stuff. So I don't know. But you got an asset like Joe Burrow, you have to make sure that you take care of him. I think that's the problem. Like they don't treat their quarterbacks the way that they need to, especially a starter. And you can ask Carson Palmer about that. You know what I mean? Um, So I mean, yeah, I don't know about that one, man.
Hey, biggest winners and biggest loser in these trades. To me, the biggest winner out of the deadline, it had to be Detroit acquiring Zadarius Smith.
Hmm. For me, I think the biggest winner was Washington. You get a perennial Pro Bowl corner at that price, and that's saying something. You know, um, I think they're on the way to becoming a powerhouse. And look, remember the conversations we had before. The NFC is not the strongest conference, so now you're building a powerhouse. You know what I mean? The Commanders are going to do what the Cowboys have been trying to do for years. And so, I think that was the winner of the week because that was something that wasn't expected and they pulled it off.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. The Saints acquiring Lattimore. They, like I said, they needed a quarterback. They got McLaurin now. They got Robinson and Eckler in the backfield. They got Jaden Daniels out there playing like a superstar. I mean, every time I see Jaden Daniels go out on that football field, he's another one of those players that put God first, just like CJ Stroud. And I
Yep.
respect that about these players because most of these players, let's face it, they are blessed to be where they are. And Washington picking up a piece like Lattimore,
Yep.
it's just going to make them better. And it's going to make them a threat in the NFC East. That's going
Yep.
to put them up there with the Eagles. And let's face it, Dallas and the Giants, your season is over. Your season
Yeah.
is completely over.
Yeah.
So you might as well keep trying. and move forward with what you got going on.
Yeah. It's crazy because as far as the biggest losers, I hate to say it, but man, the New Orleans Saints, y'all have so many problems. You got a coach that, was apologizing to Atlanta and Arthur Smith because of the Saints scoring at the end. And that would have never happened if Sean Payton was still running that team. Last season. Jameis Winston and them line up at the end to get um Jamal Williams, or the one touchdown that he got that season. It was a blatant sign of disrespect. And Dennis Allen, you're apologizing to the Atlanta Falcons head coach? I don't give a fuck what you're doing. That is your enemy. He is your in division rival. You do not, under any
I mean, but you gotta
circumstance.
give Atlanta their credit though. They went in there and did what they supposed to do, and they got the W. And I said this, and I ragged on them. Kirk Cousins is the X factor of that whole situation right there. Because, like I said, Atlanta got talented players on offense and defense. Getting Matthew Judon from the Patriots boosted that defense up. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta's defense was suspect, and they needed a player like Judon to
Yeah.
boost that defense up.
And
Now
this
that
is
you
this
paying
is
Kirk Cousins all of this money, let's see what he's going to do for Atlanta come playoff time.
so look,
Is he
this is
going
what
to
I'm
do?
talking about. This is what I'm
Is he going
talking
to do
about.
what
The
all the Atlanta quarterbacks done in the past, or is he going to
so
finally make Atlanta the team to want to? You got look who's supporting you guys. You got Ludacris coming out there every week telling Atlanta to stand up. Stand up to what? Another playoff loss? Get it together. They have to get it together. They have to get it together. And if
so
they think
so
that
look.
Kirk Cousins is going to be that quarterback to do it for them, who knows? Why did you draft Michael Penix then? If you got Kirk Cousins.
Look, man. That's what I'm saying. This whole Cousins stuff is a rental for this year. I believe Penix should take the helm next year. You know what I mean? But it just goes to what I'm saying. The winning teams trade for players. The losing teams are trading for trade assets. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They're trading to get more picks because they know they have to rebuild. They know, oh, we got to get other coaches, we got to get new players, we got so they're stacking that deck. The teams that are contenders are trading for players.
yeah.
And so, it is what it is at this point, I guess.
I mean, like I said, this week 9, it was crazy. And I have to give the Jets credit when credit is due. They played Thursday night against your boys, and everybody's comparing these two catches. Let's compare these two catches. Who had the best catch to you? Is it Garrett Wilson with the one-handed catch in the end zone, or is it Odell Beckham Jr.'s famous one-handed catch with the Giants?
Look, man, you cannot. And look, it was a great catch. It was a fantastic catch, right? But that Odell Beckham catch, man, that put dude on the map. You know what I mean? That put him on a map, and he was falling. You know what I mean? If you watch the film, he was backing up, but he was falling. He tripped, and he put his arm out, and he still caught the ball. That's crazy. That's talented. That's athletic to me. So yeah, nah.
To me, both catches was amazing catches, but I have to agree with you. Odell's catch was greater than Garrett's catch. I mean, Garrett catch was, he's a talented player. He was in the end zone. He got both knees in the end zone, but Odell's catch, like you said, he was falling. The defender was grabbing him. He fell backwards, and his body was in the end zone, did not go out. And
Yep.
that was a penalty right there. So right there, that's going to be the catch of the century. Odell Beckham putting on that show in that Giants uniform, catching the ball the way he did. That was amazing.
Yep.
Now, we got another week coming up. What game are you looking forward to the most this week coming up?
I'm looking forward to Houston bouncing back. They need to bounce back, and there's no way that they lose three in a row. There's no way. Um, C.J. Stroud and that Texas offense, they're hitting on all cylinders. It's a couple of mistakes here and there that they made in the previous weeks that have cost them the loss, and I think they'll clean it up. I'm looking forward to seeing them bounce back this week and get that dub. Um, but yeah, that's my squad. That's my squad. You know what I mean? So let's get this dub this week.
Huh. You know who they got next week?
Yeah.
Ah, this game right here. When I saw the schedule
Mm-hmm.
and the teams that was playing coming this week,
Mm-hmm.
I looked at this game right here.
This gonna be game of the week.
This right here. And everybody was like, oh no, the Eagles and the Cowboys should be America's game of the week.
No,
No, it should not.
no,
It should not.
no.
It should be this game right here. You got Houston and CJ Stroud, and you
Yep.
got Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions Sunday
Yep.
night.
Yep.
Thursday night. Thursday night. We have Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Shout out to my brother BC and his Bengals going against Lamar Jackson and those Baltimore Ravens.
I'm not, bro. We all know the Ravens is gonna win. Can we like skip over that? Like it's not. Look, okay. So every divisional game is difficult because you play this team twice a year. You know them like the back of your hand. You know their staff,
Mhm.
their people that they have on the team. You know all of that, right? So it's gonna be a dogfight. But at the end of the day, with Lamar Jackson, with Derrick Henry, with all these weapons that they have on that offense, man, Cincinnati is not ready for Baltimore.
They're not.
Can I just throw in that I'm really pissed off? Y'all are still not addressing when my boy turning the NFL straight on their behind, just out of nowhere.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about that. That's play of the week.
Just
Play of the week. I'm glad you brought that up.
buttons. Hit a cheat code that didn't know. I ain't even. I'm just letting you know. I'm waiting. I'll wait.
The play of the week, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about that right now. The play of the week.
I see right
Go.
here.
And Eagles fans are gonna shout out to the Eagles fans.
Bro,
Fly Eagles fly. Play of the week goes to Saquon Barkley.
I was an Eagle
The
for about
way
5
that
minutes.
Saquon Barkley ran that football, he did run like he was on NBA Street. The way that he ran, the defender missed him, and then he jumps backwards. That's some Madden stuff. That's some things I would do in Madden to people. But when I see Saquon Barkley do that in real life, I had to double take like this. Like, did I just see that?
Bro, I wish I
Did, I
could
just,
pull
did he just jump over backwards?
Dude, so
But at first, he stepped out. And this is like, you should have been injured 50 times on this play. Stepped out with the left leg, hit a hezzy spin. Who does a hezzy spin?
Who does that? Saquon Barkley.
Then, like, oh, still got you. And then spins again, but not just this time. And this time, I'm going to spin and I'm going to jump into the air and let your dumb behind come between my legs. And I'm still here. Oh, my God.
hey, listen, man. Saquon Barkley, he is one of the top two running backs in this league. It's Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. And Saquon is really showing why he should have, like, the Giants should have never let him go. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's embarrassing them at this point. You know what I mean?
Mad right now.
Oh yeah, they're super mad because he should have been let go. He shouldn't have. And now he's going out there and he's balling for another team and their divisional rival no less. You know what I mean? So
we talk about plays. We talked about that Odell Beckham catch. We talk about that classic run or two from Marshawn Lynch. This buddy just got his now. He just add that on. That's up there now, bro.
oh yeah.
That ain't. I can't do this with 2 thumbs. I need 4 thumbs to do that on a video game. I can't do.
That's only stuff you see on video games.
That's it. That's it.
Ooh, good.
Hey,
That's all
I
I was
would
looking
not
for.
be surprised if Madden 26 come out and Saquon is not on the cover.
Please don't do that. You know that Madden curse. You know that Madden curse. Don't do that.
Oh man.
Don't do that. Put him on the back if you're gonna do anything. Just let the front say Madden, and then on the back just have him with all the credits and everything. The front just say Madden 2025, and then have him on the back with all the stuff covering up his face. Don't put him on the cover.
It can't be Madden 2025 because there was a Madden 2025 in 2014.
Right, 2026. What up? You know,
Wait, no.
And 2025 got Christian McCaffrey on the cover.
My bad. It was Madden 25, not 2025, because it was the 25th anniversary.
My bad. Forgive me. I'm the rookie in this podcast right here. I just want to. Did y'all see the way he hit NFL Street PS2 on that?
He did. Giants fans, y'all got an early Sunday morning game, but look who you're playing. If y'all lose to this team, Giants, just give it up. Giants, Panthers, Sunday morning.
Look, Giants. Let me talk to you, okay? I'm talking to you nicely because our other producer who usually is on here, he don't care for y'all at all. Okay, but listen, y'all cannot be embarrassed and lose to the Panthers like the Saints just were, okay? Because look, you see what happens when you lose to the Panthers? Your head coach gets fired.
You do not want that.
You don't want that. You don't want it. So I suggest y'all get it going. That's all I'm gonna say.
Not just because I'm in the South. You just
Giants fans, hear me out. And I might be nonchalant about this, but hear me out. You want to win this football game, right? Put Daniel Jones on the bench.
Yep.
Bench him.
Bitch.
Because if you start him, you ain't going to win. Bench him. Why did you go out and get Drew Lock from Seattle? To sit there and collect a paycheck just sitting on the sidelines? And then you got Tommy DeVito. Oh, everybody wants to trust in DeVito and make this guy his own personal sandwich because he won a couple of games. That's not going to cut it either. Giants, listen to me. Keep on losing like New Orleans, too. Keep your coach because he's a great coach. Keep the coach. But if you want a decent quarterback in the draft, this is the year to do so. Why are you paying Daniel Jones all this money to stink up MetLife Stadium?
Let it go, bro. Let it
go. Let him go and move forward. Now, whoever gets him, I can see Daniel Jones as a backup quarterback, but a starter, no.
Absolutely not.
You know what? If they go out there and if they don't decimate the Panthers, it's time to let it go.
It is.
I'm just saying, like after that, that's a clear sign again.
Is the Panthers, have they become that team? Like if you lose, your coach gets fired?
It was Detroit, and they done made a turnaround, so maybe that's a good omen. It was Detroit. So maybe that's a good sign, some type of weird way, but at least Detroit did the right thing and made the right moves and got the right things going on. I don't know, Carolina. I don't know. And now, not just because I'm from the South, not just because I'm from Georgia. I'm just saying, I call it like I said.
With the Chiefs winning last night, being 8-0, the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Yes.
What team do you see beating them?
I see a couple.
It's actually not a stretch. That is actually not a stretch.
I see a couple. I see the Houston Texans. I see the Baltimore Ravens, and I see the Detroit Lions.
You got two of mine that I was gonna say. I was gonna say the line. Well, finish, bro. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm the
No,
Ricky.
no, that's the three that I can see beating them. Of course, it's going to come down to the Super Bowl if the Lions get there or not. But in the playoffs, the Texans, they could be dangerous, man. The Baltimore Ravens acquiring what they just, bro, they can be dangerous.
That's dangerous. I agree with
So
that.
yeah, and look, they're riding high, right? Because they won 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. They're going for the third. They're undefeated. No one can stop us. We're getting all these Pro Bowl and All Pro players for like a penny on the dollar. Yeah, keep it up, keep it up. Because I want y'all to remember what happened to the last team that went 18-0, and what happened to them.
They lost the Super Bowl to the New York damn Giants.
Correct.
They got to figure that thing out, man. I agree with you with I think the Ravens can do it, especially with their added arsenal. I think the Lions are a sleeper team because that matchup for them, like that's just a really good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a good game. The Lions and the Chiefs, that's a good game. That's a good game to watch. And Texans, I would not sleep on, but if I had to say another one, for some reason, hear me out. The Falcons.
Stop it.
You know why?
Look, because you're from Georgia. I get it. I get it.
Nope.
You're from Georgia.
Nope.
I understand.
That ain't why.
I'm interested to find out why. Tell me why.
Absolutely not.
That ain't why. Because
Tell me why.
That's going to be the team, or that's going to be a team, should they face again. We know they already ran up against them, and it was a good game.
Yep.
But should they face again, you're going to expect to win. And Atlanta is one of those teams with flip a coin, man. They either can bust your behind open or come out there and you just say WTF, bro. You don't know what you're going to get from Atlanta, and it might be one of them days where everybody just left Magic City, or it could be one of them days where everybody about to go to Magic City, and they just show out. You never know with them, man.
That's true. That's fair.
Look at them every time they go to the Super Bowl. Look at it. First time, they just left Magic City. They was partying too much. They was partying already. Look at them. Go back and watch that Super Bowl when you got everybody dancing. Dirty Bird, everybody dancing.
They were up, 28-3 at halftime?
That ain't, you know what? We're going to talk about that on another show if I should pop up again, if I'm invited again. You know what? Their defense played their behinds off in that game, man. And
now, that's one thing I will give Atlanta. Their defense did get better.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with Atlanta.
That was on them. If the offense could have got one more touch.
It's the quarterback for me. It's Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Can you honestly trust Kirk Cousins to lead you guys to the Super Bowl?
No. They need, you know what? I think they need to let Ricky get some more minutes and just like get his feet wet. See what you got. What's there to lose? Like, get him out there. Don't just let it all be Kirk. Get the rookie out there. Let him play a little bit to see, get a feel for everything. Get that in-game touch for real, and see what happens. I mean, what do you have to lose? Come on, it's Atlanta. What we finna do? Make it to the playoffs and lose? That's what we're gonna do. That's what we do all year.
That's precisely what you're gonna do.
You know what we do? You might as well go ahead and try it out. See what you got. Next thing you know,
that is true.
You never know. And I mean,
that was another edition. That was another edition, a special edition. We broke down all the news. As more news come up to you, we will gladly bring it to you. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in this Saturday. My brother, Beast, will be on here with his Over the Barricade podcast. He's the host. I'm the co-host. We talk wrestling, so tune in to that. Also, tune in. We have some more special things coming up as we go along. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to let my brother take us out. My brother TG, bless the show. Take us out.
Hey man, gladly. Hey, thank y'all for all of those who watched, have watched, will watch. Thank y'all. I want you to have your mind, body, and spirit together. I got you right there, bro. Everybody positive vibes. Hey, thank you, Reg, for doing this. Thank you, August, for being here. Thank you for doing this. But most of all, thank y'all, the audience, because without y'all, this is nothing. We know you have many choices on what you can spend your Tuesday night doing, and you chose to be here with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. We
Yes,
look
sir.
forward to seeing you hopefully next week. Pull up to the table, pull up, because we got 100 yards to run again. With
Yes,
that being
sir.
said, all of y'all be blessed. All love. We love y'all. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Peace and love. Tune in week 9. I want to thank my viewers. I want to thank the future viewers who are going to be watching this. Thank the viewers on Instagram and YouTube who are tuning in and who will also continue to tune in. On
Yo,
that
yo,
note,
and real quick, I'm gonna let y'all know we just getting started. We're doing this on Tuesdays, but I promise you we got something special coming for y'all. So stay tuned.
on that note, peace and love, man. We out.
The world is yours. It's ours too, though. Bounce.